Hi everyone. Today I have a video for you where I'll discuss some of these questions I have been receiving from my contacts in Australia, India, UK, and Singapore. These are questions that are being asked of students in their oral examinations. So I thought I should share them with you so that you can prepare for these questions as well. I have just combined all of them in one document and I'll read out those questions for you guys and just make a note of these and make sure that before you go for your orals, you know the answers to these questions as they are being asked of students, right? I have actually discussed most of these questions in my videos, so if you don't know the answer to any of these questions, feel free to go and look up for my videos regarding these topics. There could be some topics that I have not discussed, and of course, I'll let you know that. All right. So the first question that I can see here, the surveyor has been asking is that he has been asking about lights displayed by towing vessels and the spacing between the lights. So they have focused on towing vessels in some of these questions. So make sure that you read up rule number, I think it's 23 and 24, lights displayed by towing vessels and power driven vessels, and you got to understand that as well. I have a video that I had made on the confusion regarding the vertical and the horizontal separation of towing lights. Please make sure you watch it before you go. Also, they are asking about collision situations both in clear visibility as well as restricted visibility. So that goes without saying. I've always been telling you that rule number 19 is very important, and when you study rules, make sure that you draw situations, you understand it from a practical sense and not just memorize it. I've been saying it before and again. So collision avoidance situations in both clear and restricted visibility. So they might have asked questions regarding collision avoidance in clear visibility, and then they might have said, would anything change if it was restricted visibility? So you have to understand the difference in taking action to avoid collision in clear visibility, and if it suddenly changes to restricted visibility, what would you do? All right. Then they have asked about squat. So it formula regarding squat, what is squat, how does it affect the vessel? So I have made a few videos and you can find them in my playlist on ship handling. So make sure that you go and study up on squat. Squat can be asked in open waters, confined waters, narrow channels, the formula for it, what affects it, how does it impact the movement of the vessel and the maneuverability of the vessel. So these are some of the things you have to think about. Then they have asked questions about abort point. So abort point also I have discussed in my videos on passage plan. So you know that abort point is the key requirement of passage plan. You need to have abort points drawn on the chart. You can have as many abort points as you want. It's up to you. Depends on the voyage, the kind of passage, the port you are going to. So don't think that you need to have only one abort point. So make sure you read up on abort point as well. I don't want to discuss answers to these questions in detail in this video, otherwise it becomes too long. All right. Then regarding rules, they have asked about rule number 3, 6, 15, 19 and 34. All right. So if you know these rules, rule number 3, as you know, is definitions, 6 is safe speed, so on and so forth. Right. So make sure that you study up. I've told you about 19, and 34 is sound signals. You know that. I think sound signals is important as well, especially sound signals that you will employ in restricted visibility. So make sure you read up on that as well. All right. Then there were ROR cards being asked as well, and especially they focused on restricted inability to maneuver and towing and trawler vessels. So these were some of these areas that they focused on. Then they asked questions about ECDIS, and in ECDIS they asked questions about limitations of ECDIS and what are the mandatory alarms required in ECDIS. All right. And then they provided two ports, example of two ports to the student, and they said the vessel will be going from port A to port B, and they were asked to mention how they would go about planning the passage between these two ports. So you'll be asked questions about passage planning. So you have to start right from the beginning as to how you will plan a passage between two ports. What are the publications you will consult? What information will you get out of that? And what is the information that you will be having on the chart or on your passage plan? All right. Then they have asked question about, let me keep going, hazards of coal cargo. So hazards of coal cargo and hazards of oil cargo. So what are the hazards when you face coal cargo? You know the hazards you should just read up on coal cargo. And coal is liable to spontaneous combustion, and is it spontaneous combustion? So you need to do surface ventilation. So it has a fire hazard. At the end of the day, it has a fire hazard. That's what I meant, not spontaneous combustion maybe, but fire hazard. So make sure you read up on it, what kind of ventilation coals requires. If I'm not wrong, coal requires surface ventilation, so you have to do the ventilation properly. Otherwise coal can catch fire, and that could be a problem. Also, it is a bulk cargo, so if you load wet coal, there might be moisture that might come up on the coal surface due to vibration and movement of ship. So just read up on coal cargo. Also oil, especially if you have not been sailing on tankers, then definitely you will be asked question about tankers. So make sure you read up on tankers and carrying oil cargo as well. Alright, so yes, so the student says he was asked which ship he sailed on, and since he said it was tankers, he was not asked any question about tankers. But let me tell you, you will be asked questions about vessels you have not sailed on. So make sure you read up on those. You don't have to know everything about those vessels, but do read up as much as you can and gain some knowledge of it, theoretical knowledge. So you can tell the surveyor that my knowledge is purely theoretical, it's only from the book, I do not have practical experience, but at least it will show the surveyor that you did made an effort and you studied up on the topic. So make sure you do that. Alright, then he was asked about stowage factor, broken stowage, bale capacity and grain capacity. I have been making videos on these, numerous videos are there, numerous calculations are there. Please make sure you watch it, because I have explained the theory behind it as well as the calculation behind it. Alright, then he was asked how will you calculate cargo in bulk carrier. So that so you have to talk about precautions to be observed when carrying cargo in bulk carrier. So make sure you study up on that as well. If you are a second mate, you will be asked question more from an operational point of view. If you are a chief mate, you will be asked question more from a stability point of view. So you also have to mention about the stability and the structural integrity, the stresses, what are the how does bulk cargo affect the stresses that develop on the vessel while loading and discharging. So make sure you read up at your level. Alright, so if you are a second mate, don't try to read up on a chief mate level, but if you are a chief mate, definitely read up not only on the second mate level but also on the chief mate level. So see, the next question itself, it says if you are loading bulk cargo, what will happen to the stability of the ship. So if you are a second mate, you have to answer only from a second mate's level. So just what you have studied, you don't have to go and study extra and start talking about stuff that you are not responsible for on the ship. Just talk more about it from a list point of view or stresses point of view or hogging and sagging. These are some of the things you can say that you will make sure that the cargo is not solely being loaded in the center of the vessel or on the ends of the vessel, because of which hogging and sagging can develop. Then they go on and ask about Annex 1 MARPOL discharge criteria. Then what all survey will you carry on board for complying with statutory certificates? What are the statutory certificates carried by vessels? Frequency of drills, procedure for launching free fall lifeboats as well as davit lifeboats, lifeboat launching intervals, how frequent do you launch the lifeboats and test them out. You should be getting these answers from SOLAS anyway. You should be knowing that if you have been sailing on ships. Then the lifeboat and life raft carriage requirements, servicing requirements, planned maintenance schedules as well as specification. So these are some of the things. I've just combined all these questions together for you guys, because I didn't want to take you through the individual questions that have been sent from different areas. I've just combined these questions all together because these are some of the common questions I found in all the responses. So make sure you prepare for these areas, guys. Like I said, some of the key things you have to know from here is that prepare for ships that you have not sailed on, because you will definitely be asked questions about that. You will be asked questions about lashing of container. I have seen here some questions where a person was not sailing on container ships and he was asked on lashing of containers and stowage plan of containers, and that's why I recently made a video on lashing and stowage requirements. Then rules of the road, I have told you already. Rules of the road, especially rule number 19, rule number 34, rule number 23, 24. These are some of the rules being asked quite frequently these days, especially towing vessels. Students are getting confused, and that's why I made a video on towing vessels as well. If you have been following the videos, right, which you should have been. And that's pretty much it, guys. I'll not talk any more about it. I think I've pretty much covered the essential questions. If you have any other queries or concerns or feedback, please let me know, and also please feel free to share any questions that you get from your friends with me, and I will pass it on to everybody so that we can all learn about the questions that are being asked of candidates in different countries, right? So I have only contacts in India, Australia, UK, and Singapore, because I have friends working there, or some of my juniors have gone and they are studying there. But I look forward to hearing from you guys if you are in any different part of the world, about questions that are being asked, and I will see what are the questions commonly being asked, and when they are commonly asked, I try my best to quickly make a video on it. Otherwise, I keep working on requests that I get from you guys, from my members, from my subscribers, and I get a lot of requests in a day. It takes a lot of time to make video on one topic, because I need to study on it, and then I need to understand how to explain it to you guys in an easy manner. So that's why be patient, and I'll try and fulfill your request. Thank you for watching, guys, and thank you for supporting the channel as well. I really appreciate it, and please let me know how else I can help you. Good luck and best of luck, and bye for now.